Welcome to USB Hole, the podcast where we talk out of our asses. I'm Chill.
I'm a child.
And today we're going to be talking about ghosts, spooky things, all that stuff. This is the second time we're fucking doing this because some stupid idiot called me forgot to hit record the first time. So we will try and recant what we already said, but is that the right word? I don't know words.
We didn't know words the first. Yeah, recount. We did not know words the first time around either. And that was about 30 minutes worth of not knowing words.
Yeah, we can't guarantee that this will be any better than that recording, but you weren't here, so you'll never know.
You're probably gonna miss out on one or two jokes that just came out the first time that we are not gonna remember, or at least definitely not gonna be able to deliver the same the second time around. Something
I sang
about
Cotton Eye Joe.
Oh god.
It's probably for the best though, because if this ever gets monetized, it might have gotten taken down. So
right, it worked out.
All the positives.
Okay.
So to begin, we were talking about if we believed in ghosts or not. So take it away. What'd you say? Because I don't even remember now.
I said I did not have a definitive answer. I think is how I explained it. I don't okay, so it's not that I do or I don't, because I need more explanation or proof. So it's not like a definitive yes or no, because I feel like in order to actually believe in ghosts, I'd have to believe in the things that people say ghosts are or where ghosts come from, and I don't really. So I feel like I need more science or evidence. I don't really know how to explain it like that, but I mean, I've had encounters and where the only explanation would be to say oh yeah, that's ghosts, because it's I need something to explain, because it's that's not the word, phenomenon. Is that the word? An unexplained phenomenon?
And phenomenon. It doesn't even sound like a real word anymore.
So it's I don't know, maybe, but I don't know. So it's hard to put into words. You know me, I can't fucking have any yes or no answers in my life.
We can't talk today either. We're having a bad day. So
that day.
I went to Google because I wanted to look up what is a ghost, because I wanted what the actual definition of a ghost was, so I could feel like I'm not just talking on my ass, even though that's what we're doing. But for some reason, it autofilled to what is a ghost gun. And that's why I started laughing randomly, because the picture is of Joe Biden. I don't know what's happening. I guess a ghost gun is a firearm without a serial number, so it's like an illegal gun.
Oh, okay. Well, we're not talking about those here.
No. So what is a ghost? Here we go. So a ghost, by definition, is an apparition of a dead person which is believed to appear or become manifest to the living, typically as a nebulous image. So going by this, I also don't believe in ghosts, because I don't believe ghosts are dead people. And this theory is a little crazy, so stay with me here. I think what we perceive as ghosts is not a dead person. It is like a manifestation of something that came over from a different dimension. So like the multiverse theory type thing, where there's more than one dimension, there's more than one plane out there, and we're not the only ones that are living this life. But on those other dimensions, or in those other dimensions, there's either a being or a person or some sort of living thing that can transcend between dimensions. And it's coming over here into our dimension or another dimension and trying to do something. And I don't know if it's to cause, I don't know anything, because this probably isn't true. But I don't know if they're coming over to cause havoc, or if they're there's a purpose for them coming over, but I think that it's a interdimensional being that we just don't have the ability to we don't have the ability to do that, so we can't be ghost spooky things, I guess.
So what you're saying is you think like if somebody has like some sort of experience that they feel like it's like supernatural, that it's like a being from another realm is just like hopping through the space-time continuum and coming over here to be like, what up? But probably in a spooky way.
Yes. Because you never like see anything. I mean, I know people have said that they see things, but like you said, there's shadows, or I personally haven't seen anything manifesting physically, but like either something is done or there's a feeling, or I've never seen like an actual being, but I've seen, or I've other spooky things have happened. So I don't think that you can see them. I think it's like an invisible kind of like shield. But yeah, I think it's something from a different dimension. Like, you know how there's aliens? I mean, I don't know if you believe in aliens, but if something can come from a different universe, why can't someone come from a different dimension, you know?
I mean, it theoretically, yes. But for me, I would definitely need a little more proof. But I get what you're saying. So, like, you don't think they'll see it. So, like, maybe if they do see the shadow or, like, a little glimpse of something or, like, an orb or something, it's because, like, you weren't supposed to see them, but maybe something happened while they're doing their little time travel and you accidentally saw them.
Yeah, like they pressed the wrong button or there's too much force field coming through. I'm literally making this up, but it's a theory.
Okay, so this is not like something that you actually like have believed and like heard somewhere. Like this is just a theory you've made up.
Yeah, because there's already a multiverse theory, so it makes sense that people, if someone, do you believe in time travel?
That's gonna be a no.
Oh. Well, if people believe in time travel, they got to be able to believe in interdimensional travel as well. But I
Oh
also don't
yeah,
believe in,
definitely.
I don't know if I believe in time travel because you would think like we would have heard something by now. But with the interdimensional travel, if there's already an explanation that there's ghosts and there's dead people that are haunting us, like that's a good ass explanation. But there's no explanation that would either confirm or deny time travel. So it's a little more
So,
believable.
so like there's just a blip in the space time continuum, and then boom, there's your ghost. But it's not
Yeah,
really a ghost.
but they have like special skills that make it that way. It's a better theory because who wants to think about their dead relatives coming back to haunt them? Like, what a terrible thing. Like, oh, grandma's coming back to try and spook the shit out of me. One last prank. Got him.
Yeah,
Or
I
like your
mean,
dead uncle is just watching you do the dirty. Like, why would you ever want to believe that that's a thing?
those theories I can't not wrap my head around or get behind those theories or those beliefs. I mean, if that's yours, I'm not gonna say I'm not gonna judge you because I'm gonna judge you, but I'm gonna judge you like in private, like not to your face because that's your right to have those beliefs or whatever. Um, but I just can't get behind it. I need like a little more proof. And I mean, why I don't know why you would want to think that that's what's like. Oh, you died and you're at peace because you're just like watching down on me. Well, like when? When are you watching down on me? Like you popping in to see how I'm doing like on a Thursday night, or you like coming in like on Sunday morning when I'm taking a nap? Like when are you coming? Like can you knock first or
Yeah, am I going to be taking a dump or are we just going to be chilling, like eating dinner, watching TV?
yeah,
You
like
don't
you need to
know.
make a reservation.
Make a reservation on my couch. But it's like
Yeah.
the whole thing with heaven and hell, like people say there's demons and stuff, which is different than ghosts, but also something that can kind of haunt you. That's not really what I'm talking about. Like the things you would see as demons or like a monster or whatever, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm thinking that these interdimensional beings are maybe not of our world, but are actual beings in other worlds. Like they're not fictional characters. So they're either humans that have been sent to go do something, or they're another being that would be found in that dimension. So
And
it's
then
not
just
like make believe. It's not like a Demogorgon from Stranger Things. It's not like a fallen angel like the devil or whatever. It's just normal, regular beings for that dimension that have been sent to another dimension for a reason.
and you just don't know what the reason is. Like we just don't know.
Right.
Like
Because we think of them as doing something scary because we see stuff moving or we see a shadow, and that's scary to us because of the unknown. But is it scary? They might have just been coming back to save you, and you don't know. You just think, oh my god, there's a shadow that's terrifying, but he's just like, bitch, I'm trying to help you. But he can't talk to
assuming they're
you.
bad. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's why it's scary, because of the unknown. But it could not be.
Yeah, I think that a big part of it is, like you said, the not knowing part. And I think for me, like a big part of not believing in so many things is not knowing. Like, if you want to bring me some more proof or some more theories with a little more evidence, maybe I'll get behind them. Like reincarnation. Like, I have at sometimes believed in that. And like, there's some theories and some things that make you be like, oh, yeah, you know what? Maybe that is a thing. So I feel like that's one thing that I could get behind if people could come up with more like supporting evidence.
Yeah, I feel like out of all the theories of where you go when you die, reincarnation makes the most sense to me, because you don't remember anything from before you were born, do you?
No.
So why would you remember anything after you die? And that just completely takes away any theory that you're going to a heaven, or that you're waking up and, I don't know, in a paradise or in hell or whatever. It makes more sense that either there's nothing, or your memory's been wiped because now you're something else.
Yeah, I think that's a lot more comforting too, to think of like a loved one passing and like, oh, well, now they're someone else and they're making some other person's life happy, or they're getting to re-experience life in another way, or even like for yourself to be like, oh, you know, am I going to rot in this box when I die? Am I going to heaven? Am I going to witch heaven? Depending on whatever your beliefs are, like
There's a witch heaven?
no, like which heaven are you going to? Like
Oh, WHICH.
I mean, I
I was
don't
like,
know.
that's so random. What the fuck is witch heaven?
Do Wiccans believe in heaven?
I
If you're
don't think
listening, could you
so.
let us know? Yeah, so no, I meant like which heaven are you going to? Not are you going to which heaven?
Why am I so dumb?
And so yeah, I mean it's a nice thought to think about that like maybe when I die I'll come back as a puppy. Like that'd be cool. I'd like to be a puppy. But not
Yeah.
at a puppy mill, because those are horrible. Fuck puppy mills. You heard it here. Fuck every puppy mill.
But you don't, that's the scary part of reincarnation, because you don't get a choice. Like, you could come back as anything, literally anything.
Yeah. I was talking to my mom the other day. My mom and my aunt, we were having a conversation about, like what everybody thinks happens when you die, or like what do you want to believe in. Not really getting into like full religion conversation, but like just like a brief touch on like what they both think about. And my mom was saying about how she believes in reincarnation, and so did my aunt. And my mom was I tried to get my mom to come on the podcast today to talk to us about this, but she wouldn't. And I think the reason is that because for the past week I have been giving her hella shit, because she said maybe you're reincarnated as another person, maybe you come back as an animal, maybe you come back as a puzzle. And I was like, okay, well, I was with you for a little bit, and then once you said puzzle, like all credibility kind of went out the window. But I don't think she like meant a puzzle. I think she just meant like you don't know what you're gonna come back as. But
I feel
I
that,
don't
but
want
I can safely say you probably will not be coming back as a puzzle.
But if you did, imagine how much that would suck when somebody lost a piece.
Oh, yeah. That's like a
Like,
part of you.
you've been reincarnated. I mean, say, what if you knew that you were reincarnated? And it's been like, this is like your 70th reincarnation, and then all of a sudden you're a puzzle. And then you're just stuck on a shelf for eternity. Then you like go to the landfill, you just get like stuck there. Like, how would you die to get reincarnated again? You'd just be like stuck. Or what if it was your first reincarnation and something got fucked up and you wound up as a puzzle the first time around?
I think that's like the number one rule in reincarnation, that you have to be able to die.
Yeah, like, or is that purgatory? Purgatory is when you're stuck reincarnated as a puzzle. And then someone loses a piece and you're just like stuck there and you never feel whole again, like this universe.
If whoever is controlling this reincarnation, I feel like they would say
Tweet
something
us.
like that. Sponsor us.
I'm so glad that, well, I'm not really glad, but slightly glad that we messed up and didn't record, because this is much
This
funnier.
is way better than the first time around. Let me tell you.
Oh, God.
But I want to know who's in charge of it, because it's like the only person who should be in purgatory would be someone who did something terrible, like already as a living person. But if you come back from being reincarnated and you get kind of like your past lives all mixed together, I feel like if you were once a terrible person, you're just going to keep being a terrible person. So there's a lot of what ifs.
Yeah, what if part of reincarnation is you were just a trash human and now you get a chance to be reincarnated and like do a better job? And say maybe the next time around you're like a good person, and then when you die as the good person, then you get to be a puppy. You never get to be a puppy unless you're a good person.
If like you keep being a bad person, you just like throughout your lives, that's how you end up becoming a puzzle.
Yes, I can't
So,
believe
like,
I fucking missed that.
if you end up as Hitler and then you go and kill yourself, you're a puzzle.
And like 7 pieces are missing of that puzzle.
Yeah, like that's endgame for you.
The universe is like losing a puzzle. Every year you lose 1 piece of the puzzle.
And I keep starting to build you and then putting you away because I fucking hate you.
1 edge piece is always missing.
And then I bring you out a year later and then remember again how much I hate you. So you're just going to be sitting in the closet forever now.
Yeah, that sounds miserable.
So when you were talking about believing or not believing in ghosts, you say there were some things happening that that can't be explained otherwise. So have any of those things happened to you?
Well, like I don't know, I've been on a couple like ghost tours. I'm not really into spooky stuff. Not because I think it's real and get scared. I just don't like it. I don't like to feel uneasy. I have enough anxiety as it is. Um, but like you go on ghost tours and you feel like you just have that like adrenaline that makes you feel like stuff's a little spooky and like maybe it's real, but it's probably not. And like I don't really believe it is, but it's just fun to go. But like when we moved to when I was in my oh my god, my words don't work. So 10th grade. When I was in sophomore year of high school, we moved to a new house. And the people who sold the house was an older man. He sold the house because his wife died, and it was just too much. It was a big property, just too much, like a 4-bedroom house on land. So it was like just too much for him. So it was like the lady didn't. I don't know how old she was, but she was older. Okay. Like they were old. Like I would say the guy was probably in his 80s, but I don't know.
Did he kill her?
No, it wasn't like foul play. She just like died of like natural causes or something. So like very like not an exciting story where like you buy a house, you're like, oh, this house is haunted. The wife, or like the husband killed 6 kids in this house, and they all haunt the house. Like it's nothing like that. It was just like she's just an old lady who passed away, and the guy sold the property. Well, when we moved here, my sister and I, so this is like, when there's only one computer, you're not taking around the house, you got one Wi-Fi hookup, or not even Wi-Fi, one like internet hookup. You like dial that shit up and it's so loud. That alone is creepy, that dial tone.
Oh my god, the AOL shit.
Yeah. Oh. Anyway, so so like sometimes at night, like after my parents would go to bed, we'd hang out in my dad's office and like be on the computer, whether we're like playing games or like on our AIM messenger or whatever we're doing in there. Um, but so the office, you go through the not the dining room, what the hell? Through the laundry room to get to the office. And so if you're sitting at the desk in the office, you can see straight through the laundry room into the hallway, and then like to the left is my parents' bedroom, and then to the right is like the kitchen and all the rest of the house. So we're the only ones there. And when my parents would go to bed, they would close the door, and then when we would go to bed, we'd open their door. So like we knew they were in their room and they hadn't come out. And like the first time it was like the creepiest. Like we're sitting at the computer and both of us see like the shadowy figure go by. And then another time it happened like where just one of us saw it, and then the other one saw it, and then we both saw it. So like this would happen like a lot. We just see this like shadowy figure pass by the like laundry room door in the hallway, where like I said, there's no one else there. It's like the side of the house where there's no windows, so it's not like a car driving by. There's just like no way for the lighting in that area to change, and then for like both of us to see it, or sometimes one of us would see it and sometimes the other one. So it's just like we're like, oh, it must be a ghost, because what else would it be that would like cause this? So we were like scared, but we would like be like, oh, it's spooky, it's a ghost. We're teenagers. And then so we would be like, oh, it must be Audrey. She haunts the house. So we would get mail all the time. Like, when people move, you still get like their junk mail, like forever. So it had like her last name was Karen, but it wasn't spelt like Karen. So, and her first name was Audrey. So we would always like make jokes like, oh, it must be Karen. And then we were like, no, her name is Audrey. But we would all say Karen because, Karen's a popular name, whatever. So we would like get it wrong all the time. So then like whenever it would happen, we'd be like, oh, we must be pissing off Karen because we're calling her the wrong name, whatever. So it's like not really like super exciting or whatever. But then like a couple of years after we lived here, I went to get something from the kitchen and I was getting a glass out of the cabinet. And I opened the cabinet, and it's not like where you open a cabinet and something falls because it's uneven or it's leaning up against the cabinet. Like that happens sometimes. But the cabinet was open for a full, I would say, 10 to 15 seconds. Like no earthquake, whatever. And if you're on the video version, you can see me. So the cabinet's like, the shelf and the glass is here, and the glass literally like comes out like this and then down to the ground and drops. So it's not like, oh, it fell. It like came off the shelf and like fell to the ground and broke. That creeped me out. Like
that's like someone pushing it off.
Yeah, like pushing it or like throwing it. So like I could not come up with a logical explanation for that. Because like I said, it wasn't hanging there. It wasn't like uneasy. There wasn't like too much stuff in there where it was coming out. And, it wasn't an earthquake. It wasn't thundering. Like there was nothing to like rumble to make it fall out. So like
all those thunders knocking over glasses.
Yeah. Hey, if you were here earlier today when we recorded this the first time, you would have felt the thunder. But yeah, so that was just like a creepy, like that creeped me out. I was like, there wasn't something to explain it. So it's just like, yeah, ghosts. I'm like, it's Karen. Like we're pissing her off because we keep calling her Karen and her name's Audrey or whatever. Well, like
was that before the whole Karen thing too?
Oh yeah, this would have been, what year is this? 2022? It would have been like almost 20 years ago.
Oh
yeah. Yeah. Yeah, maybe like 18 years ago or something like that.
No one was giving Karen shits yet.
Yeah, no one was giving Karen shits yet. But yeah, so like I don't know, that was a little spooky. But then like we didn't have any issues with it for a while. Well, then like a couple years later, like some of my cousins that grew up nearby, well, technically it's my cousin's kids, but whatever, my family's too big, it's confusing. So one of them, like the family moved like 30 minutes away. So they had all gone to the same school as us, but they were younger than me. So the oldest of their kids, she was a senior in high school when I was a freshman, no, a sophomore in college. I don't know, I keep going from freshman to junior. I did that when I tried to say what year I was in high school too. Sophomore, there's a year in between.
That's because sophomore year is stupid. It doesn't even matter.
Shit. So to avoid her having to do her senior year at a different school, like she just stayed at our house during the week so that she could still, finish off school, and then she'd go home on the weekends. And even though I was in college, like I lived at my parents' house so I could save money and go to school and focus on that and not have to worry about bills and whatever. So she stayed with us, and then like I'm very itchy. Can you tell? Because I was in the sun having sun itchies. I made that up. That's a medical condition I
The
just made up.
sun itchies.
Sun itchies. Um, yeah. So one day, randomly, a bottle of conditioner just went missing from the bathroom. So I'm like, did you use the last of it? I'm not going to be mad. Like, it's no big deal if you use my conditioner. I don't care. Like, did you hide it? Like, did you just think it would be funny? Well, she still swears to this day she didn't touch the conditioner. And I'm like, Stephanie, I know you fucking took it. If you're listening to this, I'm pretty sure your sister listens to this. I still think you took that conditioner. But
What's
so,
up?
so I just, yeah, so it was just like another unexplained thing, but like, whatever, something happened to the fucking conditioner, whatever. So then, like, during that same time when she was living there, and like I said, we used to get mailers and like junk mail for this Audrey person all the time. And so I get in bed one time and I'm like going to go to bed and I put my hand under the pillow and there's something under my pillow. I'm like, what the fuck is this? Because like
Is it
nobody goes in my
Audrey?
room. I mean, I think so. But so like I'm like, what the fuck is under here? Nobody comes to my room. Like, what is going on? So I get up, I turn the light on to see what it was. It was a fucking mailer, like a junk mail advertisement card thing addressed to Audrey Karen. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, what the fuck? This is under my pillow. So I get up and I'm like, who was in my room? Like, what is going on? Well, Stephanie wound up fessing up and telling me that she did put that under my pillow because she thought it would be fucking hilarious to make me think that there was, in fact, a ghost and that the house was haunted and that she put her mail under my pillow. Kind of a weird thing for a ghost to do, but at the moment, it did scare the shit out of me a little bit. But she fessed up to it. So I don't know. And then so it was a pretty funny joke in hindsight, but it wasn't funny at the time. But there hasn't been any other like occurrences since then. Like I said, it's been like over 15 years since the mailer incident. but but yeah, so I don't know how to explain how it just like randomly stopped happening. That's why I'm like, can't be real because why'd she just like dip out? She was just like, this one time I'm gonna get pissed and throw this glass at you. Or did she come interdimensional like you said and she accidentally dropped the glass and got busted? Like, makes no
That
sense.
seems more plausible, doesn't it, though?
Like, yeah, if you think of it that way, that seems more like, oops, I wasn't supposed to do this. Not like, oh, one day this old lady who wasn't murdered in this house was like, fuck you, I'm going to throw this glass at you. Like, I
Exactly.
don't know.
Well, the only thing I could think of if it is a ghost and a dead lady is that she was mad that you took her husband's house and her house because that's where they lived for who knows how long. Raised their kids, maybe. I don't know if she had kids. I'm not going to assume. But now her husband doesn't live there anymore. And she's like, I don't know where the fuck he went. And I'm mad at you because you took his house. And then she stopped haunting you once he died and they found each other again because that would be cute.
That would be cute, but like, why are you going to take it out of me? Like, I didn't steal his house. We bought it from him.
Well, she was just mad. You know how sometimes you get hangry and like you can't help yourself?
She's a hangry ghost.
Yeah, she can't get her fix.
Or what if she didn't die of natural causes and she's buried somewhere on my property?
Well, you think if people knew that she was dead, like they probably had the body somewhere.
Maybe they did. Maybe he just told my parents that so that they would feel guilty and want to buy his house.
Maybe. Like he actually did kill her, and now she's like, you guys probably had a part in this, so I'm gonna haunt you because I don't know where he went.
And she's just like under a concrete slab in the backyard under one of the sheds or something.
Talk about me saying crazy conspiracy
You like
theories.
that conspiracy theory I just made up? Like maybe she's buried under the grapefruit tree. Maybe that's why they're ruby red. Maybe she really liked red stuff.
But if that's the case, then why isn't she still haunting you? I was trying to make up something like a reason why she stopped.
Maybe she realized that we weren't the bad guys.
Maybe.
Or I don't eat grapefruit, so she doesn't haunt me. This is 100% bullshit that I just made up. Not the whole story, just the thing about her being buried in my yard.
Just the thing about the grapefruits.
Yeah. Grapefruit?
Fruits, grapefruits.
It's a ruby red grapefruit tree because this is
Do
Florida.
you know her husband's name? Because I feel like now we need to find out when he died and see if it matches up with when she like stopped haunting you.
I don't know it off the top of my head, but I could get it from the records department, from like who we purchased the home from. Because this is the
Like,
same house.
that doesn't sound like an easy thing to do. You're just saying it all nonchalantly, like, oh yeah, I'll just go to the records department and just get his name.
No, I can do it online. Like you can see who you purchased. Like, yeah, no, I can just go online and see who the name of the person we purchased this house from.
Okay.
Because the house that I live in now is that same house.
You're probably not going to get an update on this because we're going to do this after the fact and you'll never know. But yeah. I want to know.
We need to do one episode where we just do an update on every other episode, just like one little sentence.
I would have to go through and like figure out what we said we were going to do in every sentence or every episode because I never remember. I know every episode we say we're going to do something and then probably never fucking do it.
That's a good way to get the listeners to come back because they'd have to go listen to those episodes for it to make sense. If you want to understand this one episode, go listen to the other 10. Or just skip this one.
That would probably be the more likely scenario is they would skip the one and not.
But don't skip it because recaps are great. Like, don't call it a comeback. But I want to hear if you have any spooky time stories.
Spooky stories. Of course I have spooky stories. So I know I told you this. It was a couple months ago, I think. When I went into the shower, I usually like leave the bathroom door open and stuff if no one's home so I could just vent out like all the hot water because I use really hot water like a lizard person. And I had the fan on and everything, but no music or anything was playing. So I was in the middle of the shower and we have like a clear shower door and everything so you could see everything. So I look over and I don't see anything physically. Like I've never seen anything in real world, like physically that happened, like your glass being pushed off or a shadow coming by or whatever. But I heard someone walking and I heard what I thought was my boyfriend saying something. I couldn't hear him because I was in the shower under the water, but I heard him saying something. And I was like, oh, he's not supposed to be home for a couple of hours. Like I would have closed the door or I would have not showered when he was about to shower because he usually showers as soon as he gets home because he works at a gym. So I was like, oh, that's weird. I'll hurry up and try and get out of the shower. So I get out, and as I'm about to get out, I hear him say something else. And so I scream, what did you say? And I hear nothing. So I get out of the shower, put the towel on, and I start walking around the house looking for him, and nobody's home. So
and you heard him talking twice?
Twice. So I was like, what the fuck? And this is a brand new apartment. Like, nobody's lived in here before us, so it's not like anyone died, which goes back to my multiverse theory. That nobody had to die for there to be an entity here, but it was creepier that it was his voice, like distinctly his voice. So that's really the only kind of in real life run-in I've had with something. If it was something.
And he didn't say like, oh yeah, I came home and then I left or anything. He was just like, no, I was not home.
No, because he works about an hour away. So like if he came home and left, it would have been to the store or something. I don't know. But he did not. He was still an hour away at work.
That's creepy.
Yeah.
And when you're in the shower and you're so extra vulnerable when you're
I know, I'm just sitting there naked like, oh, someone comes to kill me, nothing I can do about it. Like I'm done.
I don't like
so yeah, that was the only in real life thing. Unless it's just auditory hallucinations, because I'm pretty sure I've said before that I've had those, but only when I'm like about to sleep. So that was weird. The other thing that used to happen to me when I was a kid was only at certain houses I stayed at, I would have terrible nightmares where I could, in my nightmare, feel somebody grabbing me and trying to take me away. and there would just be a bunch of like screaming and stuff. And I would wake up and still feel someone grabbing my arm or my leg or whatever they were grabbing. And it only happened sleeping at certain places. And also, those places I always felt kind of like uneasy even during the daytime. But anywhere where I didn't feel that uneasiness, those dreams didn't happen.
That's creepy. Like they're trying to bring you back to this other dimension.
Yeah, like through my
That's what it
dreams.
is. That's scary.
Yeah, it always
That's
happened at the first place I ever lived in. We lived there for 14 years. And it didn't happen every night, but it happened, I would say, probably once a month. And then sometimes it would go like 2 years without happening. And then it would start happening again.
I'm really glad you're telling me this story hours before I'm going to be going to bed.
And it was
Because
funny.
if I was getting ready for bed right now, I'd be so freaked out.
Yeah. I mean, it's terrifying to think about because I can't even manifest those dreams. Like if I talk about them, they won't happen unless I'm in those specific houses. And I grew up there, so I didn't really think it was anything weird. I thought it was just kids having a nightmare. But then when I was, I don't know, a teenager, one of my aunts came by and she told me she always felt something weird near our attic.
Oh.
And the attic stairs, the bottom of the attic stairs were all of our bedrooms. So it was like right there, right down the hall. I never opened the attic door because I always felt like there was something weird behind it. And I was fine with the crawl space because we had a crawl space too. And I had no problem going in the crawl space, but the attic, I could not do it. And then my aunt tells me that as a teenager, and I like put it all together, like the fact that I couldn't open the door and those nightmares and everything, like no one else said anything. And so I felt kind of like validated when she said that. But of course, it was like 12 years after they started.
Yeah, like she felt the same creepy presence that you felt. Like it was trying to suck you up into the attic.
Yeah, and I was like, if more than one person is feeling this, there is something going on in this house.
Does that house still exist?
Yes. But
can you
no.
Send a letter to the people who live there and ask them if they have
I know who live
ever
there.
been in the attic? Oh, can you ask those people to look in the attic?
I don't talk to them, and they're like really old now, probably, because we moved out like 16 years ago, and they were kind of like almost 60 then, probably, maybe 50s. I don't know. I'm not going to ask older people to go traipsing in a tiny attic and see if they can find ghosts.
Yeah,
because they were our landlords.
Are there any scary entities in your attic? Please let us know. Oh, I mean, you're old? Okay, well, don't have a heart attack.
They've lived there now for a good 15, 16 years because they were the landlords and they had to live there to sell it. So we moved out. So, but they ended up just staying there. So I wonder if I could find their info and email them and be like, have you seen anything? Heard anything? Because that'd be fun.
Send a letter to them and to Eugene.
Yeah.
Ouch, poke myself in the eye.
No one knows who Eugene is.
Eugene's Audrey's husband, Eugene.
Yeah. So I also got a couple stories from people that I wanted to share, like fun ghost stories.
Other people's spooky stories?
Yeah. So I asked my mom if she had anything, and I'll just read what she said because I don't want to paraphrase.
Okay.
But I will change names. One time we thought a ghost locked Jenna's sister in the bathroom. None of us could open the door, so they drove a car under the window and she jumped out. Went back in and the bathroom door opened right up. In the same house, I was sleeping on the living room floor and heard footsteps on the stairs, but nobody there. Next thing you know, I felt a cool breeze like something flew past me. Then there was a fairly loud noise in the kitchen. That house was for sure haunted.
That's creepy.
So Jenna's sister got like locked in a bathroom by nothing and then jumped out onto a car. That's my favorite part of the story. She jumped out the window onto someone's car to get out.
Was it like a second floor or something? I don't understand. But the car, I don't get that part.
Well, you can't jump out of like a multi-story window and not hurt yourself.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. So was it like not a
It
first
had to
floor?
be. I have no
Yeah.
idea. It
Otherwise,
had to
the
be.
driving the car under it seems a little like excessive.
I
There's a
also don't
ghost. Get
know.
the car.
I also don't know how old her sister was at the time, so she was like a little kid. Even the
Oh,
first
right.
floor might have been a little high,
Yeah.
but
And your
that's
mom was,
creepy.
and that was all at the same house.
Yeah.
That's
So
creepy.
that house was for sure haunted. I never slept there, so I didn't know if I had the dream or not because that was back when my mom was probably like a teenager.
Um, if you had that same dream at that same house, that would be really extra creepy.
Yeah, that would be like a confirmation for me, probably. Like,
Yeah.
this is for real. And I
Did
haven't
you ever?
had that dream in so long. It was probably, that house was probably the last time I had it.
Um, did your mom have more than one story? Because I'm curious if they all took place at the same house.
No, just the kitchen thing and the bathroom thing.
But they were both took place at the same house, but not. She
Yeah,
doesn't have stories from multiple houses. So
no,
she's not haunted, just the houses.
yeah. I hope that's the way it is too. Like the place, not the person.
Yeah, like stuff doesn't just follow you specifically to wherever you go, so you can get away from it. I was thinking about it, I'm like, in the X Files, which is one of my favorite shows of all time, where they're like, I want to believe. I'm like, well, I want to believe in ghosts, but I just, I just don't know what I do.
I kind of don't want
I
to
like these
believe.
stories. I guess maybe I also don't because then that would be scarier, but I want our listeners to send us their firsthand stories. Like, I don't want a story where you're like, oh, my cousin's brother's friend had this happen to him. I want you to tell me, what was that?
What?
I don't know, loud bang in the speaker. Like something
Ghosts?
fell on your end.
I didn't do anything.
Ah!
This thing
Ghosts
is
in here.
haunted. First,
Yeah.
like, it didn't record. Second time we did it, it also didn't fucking record, but I fixed it. So I think ghosts are trying to make it so we don't get this out. We're telling too many of their secrets.
Something is for sure. So just did it again.
I'm not doing anything.
I know you're not even moving at all, but it sounds like stuff is like falling behind you.
I hope nothing's falling behind me. I'm afraid, well, I guess I could see behind me in the video.
Yeah, I don't see anything moving in your video. It's just loud noises. But
And
I want people
everything
to
I have
tell
is on
us.
silent,
Oh no, it doesn't sound like a thing. It sounds like
like
something
an
like
electronic.
falling, like a sound, a
I'm
slapping
scared.
sound or something. Um, yeah. But hit us up online on whatever social media or email us and tell us your creepy ghost story. Like firsthand ghost stories though. Firsthand.
I haven't given
Creepy
anyone
stories.
our email. I don't want emails.
Okay, well whatever's on the link tree. Somewhere on the link tree. I don't know what's on that shit. I just
I'll
send
link
it
it
to
in the
people when they
video.
ask. Oh. Or don't even send it to our email. Send it somewhere else. I just like sometimes if it's too long of a story, like you can't tweet a long story.
That's true. DM
Or
us and tell us
yeah.
if you want us to share it somewhere. We'll take a screenshot. I don't
Yeah,
know,
we can
man.
change the name.
So the other story I have was from my friend Sam, and this made me so mad. So I was emailed. You don't email people. I was texting her and asking if she had any fun ghost stories, and she gave me this one, which says, "The nice ghost that haunted my brother's room at the townhouse, who knocked on doors and moved books out of his closet." So
That's the whole story?
that's the whole story, but the actual story is that was the house I fucking moved into, and nobody told me there was a ghost.
Ah!
I used to
So
be
like they
their
already
roommate.
knew?
Yeah, because so they lived there for like 1 or 2 years, and it was her ex-boyfriend, and her brother. Well, her ex-boyfriend ended up moving in with his girlfriend, so they had an extra room. So I didn't have an apartment at the time, and I wanted to get out of where I was living, so I moved into her townhome. So it's been like 2 years that they lived there with this ghost, and no one told me there was a ghost there, and I moved into the bedroom where the ghost was seen.
That's fucked up.
And it was funny because
There
I
was just
used
some
to,
really spooky thunder right when you said that.
I didn't even know it was raining.
It's just the ghosts are making this very spooky podcast call.
I don't like it. I used to see like books that had fallen out of the bookshelf in the living room of that house, but I figured it was just us like running around and the fucking floor being shit because they were like $600 a month apartments. But now I'm thinking that there was a ghost just reading books.
Just reading books. Did you ever have that spooky dream there?
I didn't.
Because it was a friendly ghost.
Yeah.
Casper was hanging out in the closet. It was gay.
And the fact that ghosts are like house specific or like location specific also makes me think of the multiverse because if that's where they live in a different universe, that's where they'd end up. They wouldn't end up following you. They would just stay in the house.
Yeah, and that multiverse theory just makes more and more sense the more we discuss this. Because like I don't understand, like, okay, you're stuck here for eternity. Well, like, let me go places. Let me do things. I don't want to sit in the same damn room for eternity. It's boring.
Exactly.
Ghosts gotta learn to use the internet, I guess.
They're all just Victorian ghosts. There was a meme that was like, why are all ghosts Victorian ghosts and not just like someone from 2020? And they did like a 2020 meme and it was funny. Like ghosts just like dabbing and stuff.
Oh my god, could you imagine you go into a haunted house and it's just like fucking hipsters in the corner dabbing?
The year is like 2062 and all the ghosts are just dabbing because they're supposed to be older and like grandma stop. Jessica, grandma stop.
Do you think that if people become ghosts, do you think they become a ghost like how they were when they died or at a different point in their life or like
if ghosts are dead people, I think it's where they were at when they died, which is also like stupid.
You're like 102 years old and you die in a hospital and you're just like stuck there as a 102-year-old.
Yeah. But
like
obviously, if you're dead, like your ailments and all that are probably gone. Like you're probably healthy. There is no health because you're dead. I mean, you're just there.
So like, are you like spry and fun and hot, or are you like old and wrinkly and you can't even get around the hospital?
I mean, you're not a person anymore, so
maybe.
Maybe. If it's just your soul floating around, that's just like an apparition globe type thing. It's not your physical body.
Maybe like if it's my soul floating around, it's like a little black ball going around being miserable. Complaining.
This is my miserable orb. Welcome.
Like, could you imagine me as a ghost? I'd be like, fuck this shit. Be like, oh great, here comes someone else. What, I have to haunt you too? Fuck off.
I'd be like, I couldn't be bothered.
Get out of my way.
But if you're a ghost for eternity, like you're gonna get bored. So you're just gonna fuck with people. That's probably why all ghosts currently are from like the 1400s. Because at this point they're really bored and they just want to haunt people.
Just
whereas
like
a ghost
sitting here being quiet.
Yeah. A ghost that just died is probably like still getting everything together and still working out what they can and cannot do. But these like 700-year-old ghosts, they're bored. That's another thing. Like, are you just a ghost forever? What do you do?
Well, you know, there's like the theory of you become a ghost, but you have unfinished business, so you need to like finish it to cross over. But like if your unfinished business takes place somewhere where you're not stuck, like how do you leave to go? Like the theories don't all line up. So like if one theory is saying, oh, you stay where you die and like this is where you are. But then another theory is like, oh no, you have to finish your unfinished business. Well, automatically one of those is not true because then the other one's not true. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there's too much contradiction. That's why I'm
Yeah.
sticking with the multiverse theory.
Need more concrete evidence without a ghost haunting me.
Yes, someone come bring me one of those like ghost tracker things and we'll go check out abandoned buildings because I don't care.
No, thank you.
We're on opposite sides.
Just leaning into the microphone.
We're on opposite sides of the US. You don't have to come with.
Okay. Somebody send one of those spooky things to Sarah in California and y'all can go check out spooky stuff. And I'll just stay over here on the East Coast away from spooky stuff.
And I'll videotape it and we'll analyze it. I almost said analyze. Anyway.
Did you say analyze it? Is that what you said?
No, I said analyze.
Oh.
I was getting analyze and analysis mixed up, so I was saying an analyze.
An analyze. I don't want to. And now I can't say it. Now it doesn't sound like a real word.
Real word.
Now it doesn't sound like a real word. Analyze. I don't want to analyze it because I don't want to watch it if it's spooky.
It's not going to be spooky because it's fake. I'm not going to bullshit like those haunted shows and be like, oh my God, I see an orb and it's really just like a camera trick. I'm not that type of person.
I have gone on Ghost Tour and had orbs in my photos before.
Yes, because photos and lighting don't mix well. So an orb is just weird lighting.
Especially when it's 2004 and you have like a shitty digital camera and you're like walking around downtown Key West at this ghost tour where there's like lights everywhere and 17 other people also taking flash photography.
Yes.
But yeah.
Definitely. All right. So tell us if you have any ghost stories. Tell us if you believe in ghosts and if my multiverse theory makes sense because I need someone to believe in me.
And also just spread the multiverse theory because I think it's the best one I've heard yet.
Yeah. Everyone get on track.
We're going to start this.
Conspiracy theory.
Yes, that's it. Conspiracy. I'm going to teach a course in it at the local college.
All right. We'll talk to y'all next week.
Bye.
Bye.